Hello and welcome to GS Podium. From this presentation onwards, we will study a new subject, that is data structures. And in this presentation, I will introduce you to what data structures is and some real life examples of data structures. So let's get started. Before understanding what data structures is, let's try to understand what is data. This is a prerequisite, okay? So the dictionary definition for data is the quantities, characters or symbols on which operations are performed by a computer, which may be stored and transmitted in the form of electrical signals and recorded on magnetic, optical or mechanical recording media. Now let's see one example over here. In this case, I am performing addition operation to these two data. Why I'm saying A and B is a data? Because these are quantities and characters on which the operation is being performed. They can be stored and they can be transmitted in the form of electrical signals. They are performing and fulfilling all the properties of data. Let's try to understand when data becomes information. There is a distinction between data and information. Let's try to understand what is that. When I say a collection of characters like this or a collection of symbols like this, then it is just data because I won't be able to understand that. Would you be able to tell me what is exactly written over here? But when I process this data and let's say I reverse the whole string, last character becomes the first character, second last character becomes the second character. Then I would be able to understand what is written over here. Here I have written my name is Gursimran. So it is quite understandable because I can extract meaning from it. So, if the data is arranged in a systematic way, then it gets a structure and becomes meaningful. This meaningful or processed data is called information. It is not difficult to understand that the data needs to be managed in such a way that it can produce some meaningful information. To provide an appropriate way to structure the data, we need to know about data structures. That is why data structures is a very important and compulsory subject for placements. Data structures gives us the way to structure the data, to appropriately manage the data so that we can extract some meaningful information. Now let's understand what is data structure. A data structure is a systematic way to organize data so that it can be used efficiently. We are organizing the data in such a way that we can use it efficiently is data structures all about. We are arranging the data, we are organizing the data, we are managing the data in such a way that we can use it efficiently. Why I say efficiency? Because here I am talking in terms of time and space. Let's see one example of classical data structures, that is arrays. We use it many a times. We can think of it as a collection of integers, float or symbols or characters. We can think of an array as data structure because it is helping us to manage the data in a sequential order. Instead of creating multiple variables of same type, why not to create an array to store all the values? Let's say I need 500 integers. Why do I require to create 500 variables for that? When I can create a single array and store all the integers with that. Isn't it so? That is why arrays are so useful. Another example. We know string is a sequence of characters. It may be 100 characters or so. Now, are you going to create 100 variables for that? Think about that. Now let's look at some real life examples to know why do we need to understand about data structures. Did you know stack data structure is used in implementing redo and undo feature? You know this is a famous feature and we are using it many number of times in our applications. One such application is Google Docs or PowerPoint or Microsoft Word. Redo and undo feature is very famous, but did you know stack data structure is used in implementing that? Let's see how. Here I have taken an interface of PowerPoint. Let's say I write the primary goal of GS Podium is to foster learning and research. Here instead of research I have entered R search. Let me tell you that here stack is maintained for each and every element I have entered. That is why learning is stored separately and is stored separately, R is stored separately and search is stored separately. Also, we know that stack element is entered from the top and removed from the top. So this one is our undo stack. Now if I press Ctrl plus Z, then it means to undo. So what it does is, it selects the top element, pops it out and saves it in the redo stack. So that if I press Ctrl U, then it can be used again if required. That is why we can see this search element removed from the undo stack and placed in the redo stack. Let's look at another example, storing the friendship information on social networking site. Do you know how Facebook is storing the information of friends? Let's look at this example. James is friend with Jyot. Also, James is friend with Preet. Here is a connecting line that represents the connection between the two. Similarly, Deep is friend with both Preet and Jyot. But we can see there is no connecting line between James and Deep, Jyot and Preet. So which type of data structure it is? It is graph. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell button for further updates.